But Obama wants to own the word fair and the phrase middle class. And yet, who has done more destruction to working people in this country than Obama? Seriously. Who has obstructed the creation of more jobs, particularly in the energy industry, as well as others, than Obama? Now, he thinks he's Houdini. That's right. It's not Theodore Roosevelt. He's Houdini. Last hour I called him Hugo Chavez. Well, he's him too. Yesterday, as I did a few years ago, I called him Sybil because he keeps saying, I'm this president, I'm that president. He keeps changing masks and personalities on us. But he never wants to stand up and be Barack Obama. Isn't that fascinating? So he wants you to think that punishing other citizens, stealing their money, giving it to the fat, bloated bureaucracy, they take their cut. Then they redistribute it to Obama's friends, various constituent groups, that somehow that's fair, and somehow that's going to improve the job market and the housing market. He's been doing it for 3 years. Has it? Has it worked? No. So what a leftist means by fair, and they all mean the same thing, is bigger government and less liberty. Bigger government and less private property rights. Hugo Chavez runs around talking about fair too. Castro does too. They all do. And of course, inequality. We cannot have inequality, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, inequality is a fact of life. Some of us are prettier than other people. Some of us are thinner than other people. Some of us make more than other people. Some people lose more money than other people. Inequality is a fact of life, particularly in a free society. Am I right? When we talk about equality, you and I, when our founding fathers talked about equality, what they meant, and what Abraham Lincoln meant during the Civil War, was that we have these unalienable rights handed down by God. The right to life, the right to liberty, the right to pursue happiness. And what they also meant was in the context of a just government and a just law. That in front of our courts, we're to be treated as individuals and to be treated fairly, regardless of how much money we have, regardless of our skin color, regardless of anything. We're to be treated like individual human beings. Fairness does not mean the government gets bigger and bigger and determines what you need to eat and clothe yourself, what kind of car you should own, where you get to live, whether you can get medical care. That's not fairness. That's totalitarianism. Do you want to know where they have the greatest equality on the face of the earth, as Obama explains equality, as the left explains equality? Do you know where it is? As best I can tell, it's North Korea. Oh, yes, not a lot of millionaires and billionaires over there, but the ones who are wealthy, well, they're in the government, and they're in the military, and they're in their intelligence services. In other words, they decide what fairness means in what is the most horrific genocidal police state on the face of the earth, certainly one of them. Look at it. It's magnificent, isn't it? Equality. Equality of starvation. You're not viewed as an individual, unique human being. You're just equal. You're workers. Equality. Is that our goal? Equality of that sort? Fairness of that sort? Look, if everybody's eating half a bowl of rice, every other day, even though people are starving to death, there it is. That's fair. That's equality, because no one gets more than anybody else. It's also sick. Milton Friedman made this point better than I can, better than anyone can. I want you to listen to him and this fairness stuff that Obama is now appropriating for himself. Now he's Mr. Fairness. And there's nothing fair about what he's doing to this country. It's destructive. Here's Milton Friedman from over 30 years ago. Go.
favorite device to stir our emotions is to contrast extremes of wealth and of poverty. We are expected to conclude that the rich are responsible for the deprivations of the poor. That they are rich at the expense of the poor. Whether it is in the slums of New Delhi or in the affluence of Las Vegas, it simply isn't fair that there should be any losers.
Life is unfair. There's nothing fair about one man being born blind and another man being born with sight. There's nothing fair about one man being born of a wealthy parent and one of an impecunious parent. There's nothing fair about Muhammad Ali having been born with a skill that enables him to make millions of dollars one night. There's nothing fair about Marlene Dietrich having great legs that we all want to watch. There's nothing fair about any of that. But on the other hand, don't you think a lot of people who like to look at Marlene Dietrich's legs benefited from nature's unfairness in producing a Marlene Dietrich? What kind of a world would it be if everybody was an absolute identical duplicate of anybody else? You might as well destroy the whole world and just keep one specimen left for a museum. In the same way, it's unfair that Muhammad Ali should be a great fighter and should be able to earn millions. But would it not be even more unfair to the people who like to watch him if you said that in the pursuit of some abstract ideal of equality, we're not going to let Muhammad Ali get more for one night's fight than the lowest man on the totem pole can get for a day's unskilled work on the docks? You could do that, but the result of that would be to deny people the opportunity to watch Muhammad Ali. I doubt very much that he would be willing to subject himself to the kind of fights he's gone through if he were to get the pay of an unskilled docker. But what does Las Vegas have to do with the real world? A great deal more than you might think. It's one very important part of our life in highly concentrated form. Every day, all of us are making decisions that involve gambles. Sometimes they're big gambles, as when we decide what occupation to pursue or whom to marry. More often, they're small gambles, as when we decide whether to cross the street against the traffic. But each time the question is, who shall make the decision, we or somebody else? We can make the decision only if we bear the consequences. That's the economic system that has transformed our society in the past century and more. That's what gave the Henry Fords, the Thomas Alva Edisons, the Christian Barnards, the incentives to produce the miracles that have benefited us all. It's what gave other people the incentive to provide them with the finance for their ventures. Of course, there were lots of losers along the way. We don't remember their names, but remember, they went in with their eyes open. They knew what they were doing. And win or lose, we, society, benefited from their willingness to take a chance.
Brilliance, absolute brilliance, and we miss him today, no doubt about that, Dr. Milton Friedman. But I'm here to help a little bit. So we have all these decisions we make every day. And in our lives we make infinite number of decisions, large and small. We determine for ourselves what risk we want to take. We determine for ourselves what kind of life we want to lead. We determine for ourselves whether we want to be producers or ultimately losers. I mean, every successful person can give you 10 stories of how many times they failed and how they overcame those failures. But what is it exactly that Obama wants to create? What is it exactly that the statists want to create? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, they have access to an enormous amount of money. They take it from us in myriad taxes, user fees. They take it from us at the local, state, and federal level. And it's still not enough. So they borrow immense amounts of money that our children and grandchildren are going to be saddled with over a course of time. I can't think of anything they run that is successful. The only thing Obama runs is his mouth. It's the only thing he runs, well, not even well. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, disasters. FHA, disaster. FDIC, really a hollow shell, a disaster. Social Security, even those of you on it, you know I'm telling you the truth. Broke. Medicare. Broke. Medicaid. killing the states. The biggest cost every state in this country has is its contribution with the federal government to Medicaid. Breaking the states. So I sit here and think to myself, all of these extra constitutional activities, what do they run well? I can't think of anything. And then Obama says we don't want to go back to where we came from. Ladies and gentlemen, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, at the direction of the Justice Department, HUD, and the Treasury Department, destroyed our housing market. No bank, no mortgage company. It was the federal government with phony reports coming out of the Federal Reserve in Boston over redlining, which was not occurring. They fix the books, they change the facts, they pursue their agenda, and they destroy one industry after another. There's no reason that we're paying $3.60 for a gallon of gasoline, except that Obama won't allow the Canadians to build a pipeline down here, and he won't allow us to drill down here. There's no reason we should be closing coal mines and electric facilities, except that Obama is obstructing them and putting them out of business. And he claims to represent you and me and the little guy and the middle class. And you know how he proves it? He's going to give you less than $3 a day. But only if he can screw so-called millionaires and billionaires. Because he's so stingy when it comes to you keeping your own money. But when it comes to spending other people's money, well, he spends like a drunken Marxist.